Redskins 2012 is a season of anniversaries. 40 years since they played in their first Super Bowl, 30 years since they won their first one, 25 since they took home another Vince Lombardi trophy, and 5 years since the tragic death of superstar safety Sean Taylor. Let's take a look back. By his fourth season in the NFL, Sean Taylor was one of the league's most intimidating players, a package of power, speed, sharp instincts, and sheer ferocity. But his ride ended too soon. He was shot at his home in Miami in a botched burglary attempt and died the next day, November 27, 2007. His death rocked the Redskins organization and the team's enormous fan base. I caught up with some of the current Redskins players he teamed with, as well as fans who remembered him fondly. Can you believe it's been 5 years since the death of Sean Taylor? I mean, does it seem that long ago?
Yesterday, man. It's hard to say 5 years ago. It really seemed like yesterday. And November the 27th is going to always be a tough day. It's going to always be a day that you sit back and you take a deep breath and you realize what you lost. Or every year that go by, who knows what would have happened if he was still here today. Think of the growth he would have had over the last 5 years and how spectacular he would have been.
When you say spectacular, do you mean Pro Football Hall of Fame someday?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I tell people all the time, I think he was the best defensive player that I ever seen, and that's saying a lot when you think of Ronnie Lott, you think of Lawrence Taylor, you think of those guys. But I just think Sean had something in him. It was premature, but I think the sky was the limit.
Now, this season is 5 years since Sean Taylor passed away. You played with him for 2 seasons. What goes through your mind about him, and how great do you think he could have been?
Man, I think about Sean every day, but he was a special guy, man. And I think that why he resonates so clearly in our memories is because of all the potential that was there. My daughter is really close friends with his daughter, so it's not as if it's every once in a while that I get the opportunity to see Sean. I see him in his daughter, and when his child's mom and his child are with my wife and with my children. So it's an emotional thing. Last night when we were honored and they brought Pete on stage with Jackie, Baby J, it was, you had those moments. You relive so many different things, but, to that point, we're not around this every day. So in a way, it's the same for all my teammates. In a way, I think about them every day. I hope they're okay every day. And so it kind of, for me, it encompasses all my guys.
Now, this is 5 years. This season is 5 years since the passing of Sean Taylor. What do you remember about him? You played with him for several seasons, and how great do you think he could have been?
Oh, he would have been, he was already, I think, one of the greatest that played the position for not only the Skins, but when you watch him play, and, I played with a lot of guys like him. I played with Charles Woodson at Michigan and Champ Bailey and obviously Sean. And when you get a chance to compare what he did and to some of those other guys, he just was a phenomenal player because he was a tremendous, smooth athlete, a great nose for the ball, loved to hit. So many of those guys just want to go shoelace, and he was a guy that was going to put a lick on you. And as a lineman, I love to watch him play.
Is it hard to believe that 5 years have gone by since Sean Taylor passed away?
I mean, something we never forget, but as life moves on, you try to not forget people, but also try to use that remembrance and move forward.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that you'll forever be linked in the minds of Redskins fans with Taylor, the fact that you came in and replaced him when he initially went out with his injury?
I think he stands on his own 2 feet. I think that people will remember him for who he was and the great player he was and the good person he was. And, if I'm a part of that history a little bit coming in to play for this football team, I'm glad to be a part of it.
How great do you think he could have been? Hall of Fame caliber or up there with the best?
He definitely had the ability to be one of the best safeties to play of all time. And I think we were just seeing, you saw a glimpse of his talent early on, but that year he was having a phenomenal year, and I just think the sky was the limit for him.
What were his greatest skills?
that he had them all. Most guys, I mean, he had the size, the speed, he had ball skills, he could hit. So I think that he's a rare combination of